going to start off with a roll down today, okay? It's a classic kind of Pilates move. When a Pilates instructor first showed me it, they kind of described it as imagining each section of the spine as a pearl, okay? And one pearl is moving over the top of the other, over the top of the other, okay, in sync. So we're starting off from the neck, okay? And you're going to tuck your chin in, and then you're going to bring your chin down to your chest. And when you get as far as you can with that movement, you start to shrug the shoulders down towards the hips. And again, you'll get to a point where you can't go any further without leaning forward. And that's when you start to let those pearls in the mid-back start to roll down. And then, and only then, you start to lean forward, okay? So you'll feel a nice stretch. Again, I've got a really tight lower back this week. You can feel that straight away, lower back, and just slowly coming down. Now, a roll down should take, got a nice clip there as well, around 15 seconds to come all the way down. So don't just dart yourself down to your feet. Really think about the movement quality and what is actually happening with your back. So one vertebra or one pearl is moving straight over the next section. Again, when you get to a point where you can't reach any further, that might be tightness in your back, maybe stiffness, or maybe the hamstrings feeling really tight. You're just stopping at the bottom. And then as you come back up, you start off by, first of all, tucking your tailbone underneath you. Tuck your pelvis underneath you. And only then do you start rolling yourself back up. Again, your chin should still be kind of down in your chest. Your mid-back starts to straighten, the shoulders pull back, and then and only then do you start to look up towards the ceiling and up nice and high. Okay, now you've had a little practice at those. We're going to just do one more. So again, it's chin tucked, so I call it the filing cabinet move. So it's chin tucked, not just down, but in as well. Then you then nod the head, chin down to the chest. And then you're sliding the hands down the thighs. And you get to a point again where you can't flex your mid-back, so your thoracic spine any further. And that's when you can start leaning forward as well. But again, you're trying to keep the lower back just moving kind of one segment at a time. So don't just lean forward over your toes. You should be rolling down your legs. And again, it should be nice and slow. You can try and keep your chin tucked down as well. And just think about, again, what is happening with those movements. Okay, one vertebra rolling over the next. As you come back up again, you tuck the hips underneath you first. And that'll start bringing you up straight away. So that's called a posterior pelvic tilt. And then you start to straighten each section of the lower back before you come to the thoracic spine, so your mid-back. And then it's shoulder blades back, and then finally coming up. So again, all of that probably takes a couple of minutes through. Again, keep looking up towards the ceiling. It's a really nice way to just start getting everything moving into flexion and extension, and adding some pelvic tilts as well. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, that's kind of frontal axis movement. We're going to come laterally. So just literally roll the fingers down the side of the knee and come up. And again, all of these movements should be nice and slow. Okay, they're slow, they're controlled. And again, you have unilateral back pain, so back pain on just one side. You may find one side is stiffer than the other with this. For me, it's the right hand side. So I can really feel it now, going over to my left. And again, that's completely normal. No movement for the spine is good. I think there's 33 vertebrae. There's a hell of a lot of joints in the back. There's a reason for that. It's designed to be very mobile, but we also put a lot of load through it. So it's making sure not only do you have a good range of movement through the back, but also you have enough strength in the back. So it's a good combination of kind of, yes, your flexibility work, range of movement work, yoga, Pilates, but also adding in those strengthening exercises, strengthening the hips, the lower back, the core muscles. Okay, last couple through, just leaning over to the side. And then once more, over to the other side. And then come up. Again, another movement, rotation, for me to add in next. It's just coming round to the side, okay? At home, again, you can just put kind of two fingers together in front, and you're just literally rotating around side to side. Again, if it feels really stiff one way, you want to kind of almost get up to that point of pain, but not go really heavily through it. So see if you can get a little bit further around each time, but don't worry too much about pushing it too far. Now, another little trick you can do at home, if you've got them, is a dowel rod or a broom handle or mop, something like that. You can pop over the back as you do this. And then it's a nice self-assessment tool as well, because you can kind of see how far into the corners of the room is the mop pointer, so you can see if you have a rotational deficit one side, and you can see, okay, I'm twisting around more one way than the other. And that will usually tell you if you're limited rotation one side. Again, for today, just feel free to use the elbows to just pull you round, but again, with a rod or something like that over your backs of your shoulders, big part of your traps, you can usually get around a little bit further, and it's a nice self-assessment tool. That's 3, 2, and 1. Stop in there, good stuff. Okay, get the core switched on a little bit at the moment, and then add in some rotation. So you're gonna go kind of 2 fingers to the side of the head, and you're just gonna go elbow to knee, just pulling across, okay? So getting the hips moving, getting the back moving, and also think about bracing your tummy as the knees are coming up and across, bracing as if someone was gonna pat you, okay, on your stomach. That's when people are always saying, engage the core, engage the core. All you're doing is essentially tensing the abdominals. Okay, and the core technically is anything connected to pelvis and spine, so even the glutes are part of the core. The abs, lower back muscles, all part of your core. It's not just abs, but yeah, it's essentially just being able to hold positions, contract the muscles you want to contract in a safe manner. That's usually what most people mean when they're shouting at you to engage the core. Yeah, that's 3, 2, and 1. Stop in there. Okay, next we're going to come down to the floor or down to the mat. If you've got a mat, feel free to use it. Okay, otherwise just lie on the floor. Just bring this down for the next section, as we will be doing floor work. So, I'm going to start off, just going to talk you through the core muscles. So you've got your rectus abdominals, the ones you can touch right on top. You then got your internal and external obliques, and then the bottom layer is your transverse abdominis. Now that connects right into the spine, so a really important muscle group. It's kind of a corset of muscles around your midriff, okay? Now, something we don't often do is that kind of core activation of what I call your TVA, so it's your transverse abdominis. That's the bottom layer of your core muscles. Now, kind of some cueing points that you want to think about is bringing your belly button down as if there's kind of a rope going through from the inside of your belly button down to your spine. So you're thinking about kind of almost hollowing your abdomen and bringing your belly button down through to your spine. So it's not kind of a tensing of those top abdominal muscles, it's more of a pulling in of the stomach, okay? Another way someone described it to me is trying to stop yourself from going to the toilet. It's almost trying to work on those kind of pelvic floor muscles as well as TVA. So it's bringing the belly button down towards the spine. Just have a little practice at that. Again, you can have your hands either side of your belly button, and you're almost trying to get your hands lower to the floor. And as you can tell at the moment, I'm still talking. So again, try not to just suck in and hold your breath and tense the abs. You're trying to literally draw in your belly button down to your spine, okay? Now after a while, whether you think it's come off or not, you will usually fatigue a little bit after a few seconds, and you'll switch that contraction off. So again, have a little break in between, and then try and add that contraction again. Hollow out the stomach, and again, we're just going to hold for around 10 seconds there. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Just relaxing. Okay, so literally back to normal belly breathing, nice and relaxed. And in 3, 2, 1, again, hollow out and hold. Hold there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then relax. Okay, and we're just going to go once more through, and then we're going to use this exercise with another one. So again, breathe in, and again, hold there for 10, 9, 8, and keep breathing. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Relaxing there. Okay. So next we're going to do the same activation to start with. Okay, it's just a little additional pointer to add into the exercise. And at the same time, we're going to do almost kind of a reverse crunch where you bring your knees up. All you're going to do at home to add your own weight to the exercise, okay? Back's nice and straight, so it's not like doing a sit-up. Different movement, back's in a nice safe position, nice and straight. You're going to have hands on the knees, okay? So you bring in the knees in. Think about, first of all, again, bringing the belly button down, activating that contraction, and then all I want you to do is just push against your knees. So drive your knees into the body and drive your shoulders up and your hands into your knees. You'll feel quite an intense contraction. It's harder than you think. Again, if you find it really difficult, don't push as hard. And if you find it really easy, push harder and try and get your shoulders up. Okay, we're just going to hold there another 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And 0, coming down there. Okay, a few seconds rest, couple of nice deep breaths, and then we're going to go again. Okay, so again, belly button in towards the spine, the knees come up, hold that contraction, have a feel, and then pop the hands on the knees, and then push for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. And again, if you start getting that kind of shakiness, shaky contraction in the abs towards the end, then good. Means you're firing at those most of the units and you're working the abdominals hard, which is exactly what we want for them to be able to adapt and get stronger. Okay, same again. Knees up, feel that contraction, so belly button down and then push. Okay, you've got that core stability, you've got TVA activated and then you're pushing. So there's more than just those top abs working, more than just the hip flexors working with this. Okay, if you can, I keep cheating, put my feet together. If you can, split the feet apart. Again, just adds a bit of a kind of hip stability, core stability movement to it as well. That's 3, 2, 1, and coming down there. Good, good, good. Okay, so I just call that kind of knee push bracing. Really nice way, rather than kind of going into a plank, if that gives you lower back pain or sit-ups. It's a nice kind of intro exercise for lower back pain patients to start getting core working and practicing that TVA movement. There's loads of other ways you can play around with it, with leg drops and things like that, but I just find that's quite a nice one for the kind of flexion-based movement. The next thing we're going to do, okay, is just add in another component to that, so adding in a bit more stability either side, or shall I say instability. What we're going to go for is called a dead bug, okay? So you bring in knees up like a dead fly on its back, hands up, and feet off the floor, okay? Now from here, think about, again, belly button down towards the spine. You also don't want to be able to get your hands underneath your back. So you don't want your back hyperextended, you don't want your back arched, okay? You want your back flat. Push it down into the floor, and you may even feel your pelvis going to tuck underneath you, like we were doing, coming up from those roll downs. Now your hands point up to the ceiling, and what you're going to do is just extend one arm and the opposite leg. Now, if that hurts your back or you find it really difficult, don't go as far, okay? Don't bend the knee as much. You're then going to come back up, and then you're going to switch sides, okay? So you're just going to switch there, and then come back in, okay? And again, first round, just get a feel for these exercises, have a little practice, and again, just see what feels comfortable for you and how far you can go out with the legs and the arms. Like I said, again, to make it harder, you do a little pause at the end, you fully extend the legs and arms, or you can even add wrist and ankle weights. And to make it easier, you just don't go out as far. Just practice with kind of bent knees throughout, but just a little kind of straightening of the leg. Okay, last few seconds, 2 more extensions. So extend one leg, one arm. Again, can you feel your lower back pushing down into the floor as you do this? Extending the other leg, coming back, and then relaxing there, coming down. You see, again, you may feel this in your hip flexors a little bit as well, in the front of the thighs. It's completely normal. Okay, number 4, we're going to add in a bridge now. Okay, now, really useful tip I get for people with acute lower back pain. or even chronic lower back pain. With a bridge, if you think about that pelvic tilt first, so tucking the hips underneath you again. Okay, so think about tucking your tailbone underneath you, bringing the belly button down towards the spine, and almost pushing your lower back into the floor, but bringing your bottom off the floor a little bit. So you're adding a posterior tilt to the pelvis first. If you do that before you come up into a bridge, and all the bridges is coming up onto heels and shoulders, you'll probably notice straight away if you're someone that gets more pain into extension. So again, when you kind of pelvis is tilted forward, back's really tight, you'll find this a lot more comfortable as a position. Slowly coming back down. So again, with a bridge, it's all about control. Your heels coming towards your bum. Think about tucking that pelvis underneath you to start with, tucking your tailbone underneath you, and then coming up. So again, first round here, just have a little practice of that movement. Bring the hips up nice and high towards the ceiling. With this, we're working all the posterior chains, working your hamstring muscles. You can feel those tensing up. Working your glutes, okay, so your bottom muscles and the lower back muscles, they're all working together. Really nice movement. And again, often used in Pilates, yoga, glute workouts, etc. Really nice way to load, not just the lower back, we're getting the glutes and hamstrings working as a 3. Coming back down, okay, a couple more repetitions. Again, have a feel, push that lower back into the floor first, tuck the hips underneath you, and then come up into the bridge. And you'll usually find that a much less painful, easier way to do a bridge, if you get pain, usually on a bridge. If you don't worry too much about it. Okay, again, abs tense, brace the abs, belly button down towards the spine, and then coming up nice and tall into that bridge. Last one there. Again, hold for a couple of seconds at the top, and then you take in 3 or 4 seconds to come down. Okay, when you're down on the floor, what we're going to do next is come onto our sides. Okay, so we're going to do a clamshell exercise. Again, this is more of a lateral glute movement. Again, glutes support the back. You've got your sacroiliac joint. So ilium, iliac crest I'm grabbing onto there, and then your sacrum, bottom part of your spine just before the coccyx. So again, they're interlinked. We know that strengthening the glutes can help with lower back pain. We're just going to do a really basic glute med exercise here. Okay, so the legs are bent, as you can see, slight bend in the knee. And what you're going to do is you're using this muscle here to open up between the legs. What you don't want to do is open out the body and rotate over. So I usually say have the hand down here, okay, or use your bicep, use your arm as a pillow, okay, and that's just going to stop you from then feeling like you're rolling backwards. So keep your head down on your arm the whole time. Just first time you've done the exercise, and just have a little practice opening up between the knees. If you feel it's a really jerky movement, kind of what we call a cogwheel, and it kind of catches on the way down, again, just probably not used to using these muscles. We use kind of your mirror muscles, muscles at the front a lot, but we don't tend to work the lateral muscles, glute med, obliques, stabilization muscles. So again, don't worry too much if it is a little bit jerky, just get used to the exercise. You'll even find after doing 2 or 3 sets, you improve massively with the exercise. Again, the more control you can get, the better. You want the exercise to be really fluid, really slow, and really controlled. And again, for the sake of today, just doing it more as a time-based workout rather than saying, okay, 3 sets of 12 on your clamshells and things like that. Just have a little practice to start with those clamshells. Again, easy ways to make this exercise harder. You can add a resistance band around the knees. You can use your own hand to push the leg down, or you can extend the leg and do what's called a side leg lift. Good. And stop in there. Okay, so you had a good practice there. Changing sides, you just roll over. It's exactly the same the opposite side. So lie on your arm or on your hand. Okay, and again, you're just opening out between the knees. But again, try not to rotate thoracic spine, upper back. You're trying not to rotate the torso. It's all coming through that hinge through here at the hips. When you're doing slower, lower loaded exercises like this, even if say you're a runner or something like that, just think about the movement quality. It should be fluid, it should be slow. and you're thinking about what am I contracting, what am I moving, and you'll still get benefit from these exercises. It doesn't have to be a high load, it can be more about control and stability. How well can you control the pelvis, pelvic movements? A few more repetitions, just keep pressing that side. Again, you should be able to actually feel the muscle, the side of your hip there contracting. As you completely relax, as you then bring the leg up, you'll feel it right in there on the side. That's a couple of contractions. Stuff in there. Good stuff, good work. Okay, that's kind of 5 exercises essentially we ran through there. So you've got the TVA activation to start with. You're then kind of using that throughout the circuit. Number 2 is your knee push, kind of bracing position for 10 seconds. You've then got dead bugs where you're adding in that extension of the limbs, okay, just like we would do with any movement in real life. Okay, that's where you need the core to be stable when you're moving and reaching and doing other things. And then we've got your bridges, added in the posterior tilt today, and then your clamshells. So we'll run through those from number 1 again. Okay, so second set round this time, we'll do just 5 contractions, those TVA contractions. So again, just find a space on the floor, your mat, and think about, again, hollowing out your tummy. Have a feel, have the hands next to you, kind of your belly button. So I've got the middle finger near my belly button. I'm just feeling that kind of hollowing out and that contraction. And again, like I said, imagine again you're trying to stop yourself on a long journey from going to the toilet. It's those muscles as well. You're really trying to switch everything on. And then relax in there. Okay, a few seconds off. 3, 2, and 1. And then come back in again. Contract 10 seconds there. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Keep breathing. 3, 2, 1. And 0. And again, you'll feel your belly come up afterwards. That's what you want. And then you're doing the opposite movement to that. You're tucking back in again for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And coming back up. Okay, a couple more. Again, nice deep breath. And then go back in again. Tense up and pull in. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release that contraction. Again, it's important to release the contraction in between just so you can feel what's the opposite of what you're trying to do. And again, last time through, track there, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Come back a bit. Okay, same exercise next, but then adding in the knees, so that kind of push and brace position. So knees come up, and we're going to start there. So push, hollow out, keep your feet apart if you can, don't worry too much about it. 7 more seconds, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let the legs come down. A few seconds rest. 2, 1, knees come back up. Lower back flat into the floor. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And 0. Come down again. A few seconds off. Again. Tummy tucked down. Knees up again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Push, push, push. 3, 2, 1. And come up. Again, if you find it easy, test yourself. Drive those shoulders up. Bring the knees up and a big push. Push there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And 0. Come down. One last time through. Deep breath in again. Switch on those muscles. Tummy tuck down. Push from there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And 0. Coming down there. Okay, good work. Dead bugs next. Again, think about that TVA activation first. Pelvic tilt kind of almost drawn towards you. So your tailbone tucked underneath you. Okay. Hands pointing towards the ceiling, legs up, and just extend there. And then extend the opposite way. And if you find it difficult or you feel your back arching or coming up off the floor, All you do is just don't go as far. Just do a smaller movement with the legs and arms. There's 4 there. Here's 10 on this. There's 5. Nice and slow on the way back. Control, control, control. 6. 7. 8. And don't worry too much about keeping up with me. Just do it in your own time. There's 9. Just one more. Again, if you want to add little pauses in, I'm not going to spot that, absolutely fine. And that's 10 there. And then the feet come down. Okay. Next, coming back to our bridges, and again, add in that posterior tilt. So you're tucking the pelvis underneath you. You're not pointing the hips forward and having an arch underneath your back. So now I can get my hands underneath my back. That's an anterior tilt of the pelvis. Posterior tilt is underneath. Again, and now I can't get my hands underneath my back. From that position, I'm coming up from there. Okay, we'll count you in from there for 10. And down really, really slowly. The slower the better. Drive up again, and that's 9. And slowly back down. And drive up again, that's 8. Back down. And up for 7. And up again, number 6. And up again, 5. If you can, try and keep the feet flat throughout this. Try and not let the feet drive up. If they are, for there, it's probably again showing you something. There's a bit of a weakness, so you rely on having to dig your heels in or flick the feet down. Just keep the feet flat on the floor. 3. Last couple through. And coming up now for your last bridge. So again, it's underneath you. Tuck the tailbone underneath you. Come up nice and high. And then down slowly, slowly, slowly. And stuff in there. Okay. You may feel again the feet start to pop up as you do that. Okay, again, if you don't often do that exercise, it's normal. At the same time, another way to work the hamstrings more so, okay, then glutes and back, is to dig the heels in. So you can actually turn it into more of a hamstring exercise by coming up onto your heels. Okay. Again, that's for all of you runners, guys who are sprinters, relying on your hamstring strength. So that was bridges. We're now coming back to muscles on the side. Okay, so we're going to come to our clamshell exercise. Again, lie on your arm or your hand, cement yourself down this way, and then open out the other way, so backwards, rotating outwards. So this is an external rotation or outwards rotation of the hip. And the muscle, again, we're really focused on essentially is glute med. Other ways to work it: side planks, side leg lifts, natural step downs off a step or a stair. Again, clamshell is a nice way to start utilising glute med muscle and really isolate and feel what is contracting. We go 5 more from there. 4. Again, it should be fluid, it should be controlled. 3. 2. And 1. Good stuff. Okay, last time through, coming over to the other side. And again, just lean onto your arm again, and again, just opening out. So we're supporting, we're adding support when we're doing these exercises. Lateral glutes, lateral hip. And we're also practicing essentially, in a strange way, pelvic disassociation. So rather than just the tilts, we're getting the kind of leg and hip moving independently at the back. So don't rotate the back as well and turn out. Think about just focusing on this being cemented down, your torso and your back staying nice and still, and then the hips moving independently of them. And again, that will just help you naturally then become less stiff. Using the right muscle groups, the right joints, rather than everything stiffening up and trying to always use your back to bend and lean and move the hips. Yeah, I've been talking a lot. Should do a lot, and I've lost count of how many repetitions. We'll just go for one bonus one. Finish it there. And go back down. Probably did a few more there. I feel a real burn on that right side. So, what we're going to do to finish off, some of my favourite stretches, mobility routines for the lower back. So you're going to have arms wide, crucifix position, heels in towards your bum, like we just did for the bridges. Okay, and you're just going to let the knees rock from side to side. So knee rolls. We could call them knee rocks as well, I guess. I call them knee rolls. Again, on that side, I really feel low down. On my right side again, just like we did the side flexion warm up. So again, another way to see if you have a bit of a rotational deficit. So less rotation one way than the other, or SI joint issue. Like I have, that's your sacroiliac joint. And mine's one-sided, unilateral, on the right side. There's my left leg leads, and I come over to the left. Feel that there. So again, you can kind of rotate further into that side a little bit if you do have it one side, also the other. So that I find quite easy. Get the knee straight down. This side I find a bit more harder. But usually, because it's not too painful, I add a bit more speed. Try and push down a little bit further that side to ease up a bit of joint movement. So knee rolls, and even if you've had a back spasm or something like that, it's quite acute. Really nice, simple exercise to do just to add some early movement in. When that spasm's kicked in, it's really painful, really sore. It's usually one that you can get still a bit of relief with. And just get that early movement in, even when it is quite sore and tender. Okay, stuff in there. I'm going to stretch the glutes next. Okay, so you're going to go ankle over knee. Okay, if you find it difficult to get the hip in, all you do is just pull that leg towards you. Okay, and you should feel it again down the side of the leg there. Otherwise, use the other knee as a bit of a blocker to kind of pull in. So I'm pulling around the back of my leg from there. So it's a figure 4 stretch. My right ankle is on my left knee, and I'm pulling that left knee in towards my body. At home again, this foot here that I'm wobbling on the screen, you can have that against the wall or against the chair to kind of push yourself against if you do find it difficult to stay up in this position. We're just going to hold another 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And coming back down. And again, other side. So glute or piriformis. Again, you'll often see sciatica programs. Give this as a stretch, or piriformis syndrome programs. This I can feel straight away, even in this position, just pushing the knee out. So I've probably been overloading on this left side a bit. I haven't had an operation on the right leg, so that's probably why. Again, left ankle is on my right knee, and I'm pulling in. I'm grabbing behind my right thigh, and I'm pulling in again. Again, with your stretches, you want to be holding around 20 seconds realistically, as a minimum. Any viscoelastic tissue, plastic tissue in the body, so your muscles, etc. They take just shy of 20 seconds to start essentially stretching out them. So a principle called creep, which is plastic deformation under load. So again, all of your stretches to actually allow that tissue to start stretching out, you realistically do want to be doing at least 20 seconds. I say 30 seconds plus, usually to gain a bit of range. That's 3, 2, 1, and coming down there. Again, if you find positions of flexion quite comfortable, it's usually that way. We're going to have a little knee hug next, so bring the knees in, elbows locked around, and just pull in tight. Again, if you're someone that's kind of flexion intolerant, so if you're someone that gets more pain on flexion, don't worry too much about going too far with this stretch. Again, you want to keep the back moving both ways. You don't want it to get rigid and stiff. But again, just holding here. Same as if you get hip impingement or anything like that, this can be a little bit more tender as a stretch. Just play around with the angle of where are the knees, in or out, see if that makes a difference as a starting point. Otherwise, pull those knees in nice and tight and just hold there. 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. We're going to go the opposite way next. So we're going to do what's called cobra pose. Again, another kind of yoga-based movement. You're going to be lying on your front. And
Again, if you're really stiff, into extension, going for the lower back, just go onto your elbows, okay? If you can, straighten the hands out, okay? And if you can on this, actually kind of lock the elbows, but don't try and hold like a presser, try and lock the elbows. For me, I'm actually quite flexible in this position, so I can kind of come hands to the side of my chest, and then just push up from there. Again, you're trying to keep the front of the pelvis down into the floor. And again, we're just going to hold this position. For today, don't worry about it, but this is one where you can add that rotation in. You can kind of twist around either side and get a slightly different stretch. But for the sake of today, just practice first, keeping his hips down on the floor, keeping the shoulders pulled back. You should be able to still talk and breathe like I am. Or if you do want to stretch your abdominals, if they're feeling stiff after a core session like that, you push the shoulders back, chest out, and you almost take a breath in, and you're pushing your belly button down to the floor, and you'll feel that stretch your abs a little bit more than usual. That's 3, 2, 1. We're going to go the other way again, so chest down, and then bring your heels and bum together. So bring your bum back down to your heels, and call this kind of preacher stretch. Just or prayer stretch. Just again, go ahead down the floor, sit back with your heels, and just curl yourself into a little ball and just hold there. I'm just going to hold 10 more seconds for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Come up on there. Good, good, good. So I hope you found that useful, guys. Again, I'll be getting the clips out later today. If you're not watching this live, if you have joined in live, thanks for joining us. Any questions, as usual, I'll stay around in the chat now for a couple of extra minutes. Otherwise, email jack@energizedtherapy.com. That's energizing with Z. I'll try and answer you as quickly as I can.